Mr. Adams, thanks for taking some time and sitting down with us. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Feeling great. You know, things are falling into place. 27 days left.
26 when this airs.
Oh, yes.
Let's hop right into it. As a former police captain and longtime lawmaker, you say we must have public safety and reform in this city. But how can you assure those looking for real change that that middle ground approach won't mean nothing will change at the NYPD?
You know, that is so important. You know, I often talk about being arrested as a child, being beat badly by police officers. But there's a part of that many people don't know. During that time of 15, I also lost a young friend who died during the crack wars and violence in South Jamaica, Queens. So I know that public safety and justice is the prerequisite to prosperity. My experience in the police department tells me exactly how to accomplish that. We will have a safe city, but we will have police officers who will respect the public, and we will respect the police by rebuilding that trust.
You said exactly how. Can you give us one or two of your first moves you're going to do to reform while still battling crime?
Well, number one, let's change the ecosystem of public safety. We believe public safety is only police. So we're going to zero in on a plainclothes anti-gun unit. They're going to focus on gun violence and gang violence. That's so important. With precision policing, not this wide net that we did in the past. And then we're going to be really thoughtful about using mental health professionals to go after mental health illnesses. As you're seeing, that is what you see in the subway system. We're doing it wrong currently. We're going to get it right.
Ayana's going to pick up on exactly what you were talking about there.
It's great to see you.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate you stopping by the studio today. I want to talk about some numbers that I'm sure will not surprise you. Shootings are up 105%. You can see right there so far this year compared to 2019, before the pandemic. You just mentioned that plan for an anti-gun unit. I want you to just hone in on how that would be different from the recently disbanded anti-crime unit.
I am part of the battle of stopping the street crime unit that shot at Amadou Diallo. I'm part of the conversation about ending the over-abuse of stop and frisk, of my long record of really dealing with the abuse of plainclothes officers. We had the wrong officers assigned. How we determined the assignment was based on how many arrests they made while they were in uniform, and some of them were not even in uniform long enough. Eric Adams, Police Department, we're going to have seasoned officers that understand conflict resolutions, using their body cameras. Many arrests, their body cameras were closed, turned off. We're not doing that game anymore. If you do that in my police department, you're out of that unit, and in some cases, you're going to be out of my department.
You mentioned ending the over-abuse of stop and frisk, but would you go further to say that you would end stop and frisk altogether?
Think about this for a moment. And many people believe that stop and frisk was the problem. No, it was the abuse by police officers in stop and frisk. And because I have so much knowledge on fighting against that abuse, we were stopping 1 million black and brown people a year in this city. I testified in the Floyd versus New York City case in federal court, New York City Police Department. And so the goal is to state, you don't abuse the tools. I am not going to allow police officers to abuse a tool to stop crime, and we abuse that tool, and I'm not going to allow that to happen.
So just so that I fully understand, you would continue with stop and frisk, but on a more limited basis?
No, stop. And this is so important what you're asking. It's called stop, question, and frisk. We were stopping people if we felt they, what you're supposed to do is stop someone if you think they commit a crime. We were not doing that. We were stopping everyone based on their ethnicity. So my police officers, if there's believe there's a crime, they're going to stop, they're going to question people. That's it. They're not going to go through their pockets. They're not going to frisk them. They're not going to put them up against the wall. They're going to stop and question. That's what they're going to do. And then they're going to continue their job as protecting us.
Thank you for that clarification. Henry?
Let's pick up on talking about development in real estate. According to the news outlet The City and the New York Times, they've recently reported, we have the clippings right here, on your ties to the real estate community. I think some New Yorkers see this and wonder, are you a pro-development potential mayor?
No, they don't see that and wonder that. Trust me, New Yorkers know me. They've watched me for 35 years. I'm a pro-growth in this city, and I'm a pro-ending inequalities in this city. How do we do that? We have to grow, we have to develop to get affordable housing. We need to think about retrofitting hotels. I know what it is not to have housing. I lived on the verge of homelessness. I used to carry a garbage bag full of clothing to school every day because we thought the marshals were going to throw us out. And so New Yorkers are saying, Eric, help us get affordable living in the city. We don't have that now. I'm not pro-developers, I'm pro-New Yorkers. And New Yorkers need housing. They need office spaces. They need an economy so they can be employed and we can continue to prosper out of the city.
Would you be hard on developers then and say, hey, really high percentage of affordable housing, 30, 40%? How aggressive would you get there?
Very aggressive. I denied developments in my community. There were many projects in Brooklyn that I said, you're not going far enough. The Armory project on Bedford Avenue, I denied that project. You're not going far enough. We must have low income, moderate income. We often forget about middle class New Yorkers. They're struggling too, and we must have a pathway to home ownership. Great project in the Bronx. Not only is it affordable housing, but we're doing something else. We're turning those affordable units into apartment ownership. Build equity, and then you can continue to grow in the city that you love.
Ayanna?
Thank you, Henry. Let's chat about education. Your education plan calls for eliminating some of the disparities in New York City's public schools. So what 3 concrete steps can you take immediately to lessen those disparities as mayor?
Number one, our student funding, how we fund schools. We fund schools based on what happens inside a classroom. That's wrong. We need to base on what happens in our community. So if your community with a large number of homeless shelters, homeless children, your community with high crime and violence, a community that's dealing with healthcare disparities, we need to put that into the school funding as well, because the barriers to education is not only what happens in the classroom, the barriers to education is everything that happens to that child en route. Then we're going to change how we educate in our schools. We're schooling, not educating. We're going to return the joy of learning in our schools. These high-stake testing and how we are focusing on our children, internship, externships, exposure, making sure that we have a curriculum that is sensitive to the cultural understandings of our students and lean into dyslexia screening. 30% of our inmates, according to one report, they are dyslexic. We need to do mandatory universal dyslexia screening so we don't continue to feed the criminal justice problem in our city.
Next question is really quick, just a yes or no answer. Should New York City continue to operate more than one school in the same building? Yes or
Yes,
no?
they should, but it shouldn't be forced co-locations, but yes, they could. Campus, synergy, cross-pollination of ideas.
Thank you. Henry.
I wanted to quickly drill down on your promise to hire the city's first female police commissioner. First, real quick, do you have someone specific in mind?
Yes, I do. I have 3 people that I have communicated with. And
Names. Can you tell us more about their qualifications? A person of color, if from inside the city, from outside the city, what are you looking at?
What I'm looking for is a person that has a story to tell. I don't want a person that does not understand what it means to have the power to take liberty from individuals. And that's what has happened far too often. And so when I sat down and communicated with these potential commissioners, I wanted their stories. I wanted their narratives. Who are you as a person? We're so busy looking for people who are academically smart. I'm looking for people who are emotionally intelligent. And that is what I'm going to be looking for in a commissioner.
How about just one of the names?
Can't do that. They're employed right now, and it's unfair as a person who's employed to say that you're potentially losing your job. That's just not fair to do that to them.
Ayanna?
Talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, should New York City have a vaccine passport? And if so, where should New Yorkers have to show that passport?
I believe they should, but we should do it by securing the data. And we need to be extremely careful. This is new ground for all of us. We're talking about putting something on a device and stating, can you come in somewhere or not come in somewhere? We're not used to that as Americans. And so this is a slippery slope if it's not done correctly. Data security is crucial to me. And then we need to really talk with those who are hesitant about taking the vaccine. How are we going to treat them? So this is a very careful area, and it strikes at the heart of what's important to us as Americans. Let's make sure we get it right.
Yes or no, will you require all New York City school students public school students to get the COVID-19 vaccine as they become eligible?
I am open to that conversation. I want to hear more from parents. I am extremely sensitive when it comes down to parents doing something new. This is new ground for us. I believe in vaccinations, but I also believe that this COVID vaccine has brought with it some unique circumstances, and I'm open to it. I think it's important that we don't spread it, that we receive herd immunity, but I'm extremely sensitive when it comes down to the relationship between parents and children.
And yes or no, what about the requiring the vaccine for teachers?
I'm open to that as well. I think that our teachers should have it, and I'm open to that conversation.
Henry?
Yes or no, please. If Governor Cuomo runs for re-election next year, will you vote for him?
I like to keep who I vote for privately. I will have to see the outcome of these investigations. I'm extremely troubled by the allegations. I believe that really hurts his ability to lead. But we will see the AGs doing the investigation as well as the state lawmakers. We need to look at the outcome of these investigations.
Real quick at the end here, Broadway's back in September. What are you seeing?
Oh, I saw it 4 times already, but I'm going back to The Lion King.
All right.
Beautiful show. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams. We appreciate your time.